Toastmaster. As my slides begin to load, I will go ahead and start. I know we have some country fans in the audience, and so I wanted to start with a lyric when I think of buying a house was growing up as a teenager. I listened to Tim McGraw and the song Where the Green Grass Grows. So the lyric, I'm going to live where the green grass grows, watch my corn pop up in rows. Now, this picture to the left is actually a picture of the corn popping up in rows. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our purchase of what we like to call the Cubacha homestead. To start with, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and my husband. So we are from Southern California, which I'll tell you, we love gardening, and being outdoors comes very easy and naturally for people in Southern California. It's a bit harder up here in the Pacific Northwest because you have to worry about the weather and the fact that it's raining and it actually gets cold. So not every season is gardening season. We are also a second-time home buyer. So when we came to purchase our home up here in Washington, we had a couple tips and tricks from the first time around. But to talk about the actual negotiation process of our home purchase, I'm going to go through 5 keys that we utilized in the pre-offer and the actual offer. All of these can be used for any negotiation, except number 3, where it says understanding the seller. In that case, you would switch it with whoever you're trying to negotiate with. Now, the pre-offer strategy. Research. This has definitely changed over the years. As you can see, I pulled up a picture from Redfin. You can go out there and look for any house that's on the market, but you need to know what you're qualified for. You maybe don't want to be looking at the millions if it's something that you can't meet, but you do want to have some filters and understand exactly which areas and neighborhoods you want to look in. When we first moved to Washington, we actually drove to Duval, and on our way there, there's a road that says something like, beware of intermittent closures during snow season. We were thinking, we probably don't want to live on the other side of that road because we probably want to be able to commute to work. Now, our ideal outcome for obviously buying a house is having enough size for a house. Now, for me, I'm more of a 3 to 4 bedrooms is good. Anything beyond that requires too much dusting. And the lot size. Again, we came from Southern California, so pretty much anything. I guess the first house we stayed in was Edmonds, and it was a 0.41 acre. And the fact that they listed housings with acres and not square footage was amazing to us. So anything beyond that was great. But when we started to look at houses that were 5, 10 acres, we were thinking, how would we even maintain that? So we definitely had to narrow down both the house size and lot size. And of course, ideal outcome, we're looking for how can we get our offer accepted on the first offer and making sure that it stays within budget. Now, some of our non-negotiables, which we've already talked about, was having that outdoor space. At the time, we had 2 dogs who, as you can tell, do not like to stay indoors, and our little kid. Our first house was actually in Anaheim, and we didn't have much yard space, and it was concerned to us about actually having somewhere where our kids could run out and play without having to take them to the park every time. And we were looking for somewhere to grow our family. So the offer. Well, I think what's key in buying a house, if you're buying from an owner and not somebody who's flipping a house, is really understanding who the seller is. Now, we got lucky. We were able to go purchase our house and that they weren't there for the original showing and the workshop was locked. So we had to come back later in the day to see the workshop. That was our opportunity to meet the owners. And we knew that they were looking to get out of the hustle and bustle of Snohomish, but really, compared to Southern California, we were like, okay. But the fact that it was the single owner, this guy raised his family there, kind of helped us paint the picture to them that we want to look for a house that we can make our home, where we can raise our family. And with that, we actually gave them a letter about how we can envision us living in their house and bringing it forward the same way that he did for his family. Now, some areas of compromise. Obviously, I think Seattle, just like Southern California, has been a hot market for a while. So we did have an escalation clause. And for those that don't know, an escalation clause is where you offer the asking price, but you'll have an escalation clause that says you're willing to go above and beyond the offer price without having to re-offer if other people have offered higher than you. So they did take us beyond our original offer, but they did not go to the full escalation clause, which I think, again, they could have because somebody else was actually offering more with the higher escalation clause. But I think our letter is what sold it for us. And they also needed to use some of the area past the close date because they weren't going to be able to move everything from Snohomish to Bellingham within the appropriate time. For that, we were fine because we actually thought the home buying process was going to take a lot longer, and we were still under lease for another 5 months. Now, what was the outcome? The perfect family home. Not only did we have an enclosed yard, which was great for the kids and the dogs, but it was also great for small farm animals, which we've ventured into chickens, ducks, and pigs. It was also a great size. It gave us the opportunity to grow our family, and it was a good sized lot. We have 2 acres, and it only takes about an hour, hour and a half to mow the pasture during the summer. And the location. It's technically zoned city farms, which means that we're a rural lot, we're unincorporated. So we kind of get to do whatever we want, but we're actually within the deliverable zone. So I know on the other side of Highway 9 from where I live, they can't get DoorDash from several restaurants. And that was key during the pandemic. Also, we're within the commute of several cities. We can still go to the local farms to do picking for the items that we don't grow, and we can go down to Seattle and do the zoos and the museums. So as key takeaways, I just want to mention in any negotiation, you want to be proactive. You want to do your research. You want to understand what you want, what your seller or who you're negotiating wants, and basically what you're willing to compromise on, and having that awareness of that. You also want to be resilient. Buying a house is not easy. Most of the time, we looked at several houses. Luckily, we only had to do one offer in Washington, but in Southern California, we had several offers that were not accepted. And lastly, be optimistic. If it's something that you're looking forward to, you can make it happen. Thank you.